So this article is from Forbes, and they're talking about whether Congress is going to extend the unemployment benefits, $600 a week thus far. And let's take a look at what they have to say over here, all right? So the headline reads, expect $600 federal employment checks slashed to $400 or less. Several academic studies have confirmed that the CARES Act, which is when they robbed you, when they gave trillions to the corporations, the CARES Act benefits, including the enhanced unemployment benefits, were crucial to keeping Americans afloat. A team from Columbia's Center on Poverty and Social Policy found that between 2019 and 2020, poverty rose 0.2 percentage points from 12.5% to 12.7%. However, with the CARES Act stimulus, they calculated the poverty rate would have risen to 16.3%. Okay, let me stop you right there, because mainstream media is so atrocious that we have to go paragraph by paragraph and line by line. The poverty rate still increased. That's not a good thing. But do you see how they frame it? They try to frame it as a good thing. They're telling you the poverty rate increased 12.5 to 12.7%. And they try to frame it as a good thing. No, that's not a good thing. That is not a good thing. You shouldn't have to rely on the CARES Act, which was highway robbery, to allegedly mitigate the increase of poverty, which it didn't, because the poverty rate still increased. Look at this shit. I mean, it's unbelievable. Okay, so they're saying, for example, among those who lost their jobs and received some stimulus, the $1,200 check, but not unemployment insurance, the poverty rate fell from 35.1% to 30.2%. However, for those who did receive unemployment benefits, the poverty precipitously declined from 19.5% to 6.4%. Yeah, no shit. No shit. That was a one-time check of $1,200. Of course, if you give people $600 a week, that's more money. You don't need to be a rocket scientist to tell us this. Oh my God. Do you see how they try to subconsciously brainwash you into thinking that either of these options was acceptable? Neither of them were acceptable. You were swindled. You were screwed. You got screwed. None of this is good at all. So, quote, right now, the safety net is doing what it's supposed to do for most families, helping them secure a minimally decent life. Given the magnitude of the unemployment loss, this is really remarkable. No, there is nothing remarkable about this. You have 50 million people unemployed. That is a catastrophe. None of this is sufficient. It's not enough. He's saying that it's helping families secure a minimally decent life. No, it's not. It is not. Who said that? Did you survey millions of people and ask them if they're comfortable with that, if they can cover their bills? There are millions of people who did not pay their rent during the last couple of months, who can't afford to pay their rent. How is that minimally decent? Oh my God. Terminating the $600 unemployment benefit at the end of July would result in hardship for tens of millions of households, along with a large reduction in aggregate spending, given that the unemployment rate will likely remain at the highest level since the Great Depression and the economy will still be operating well below its potential. No, listen to me, man. Millions of households are already going through enormous hardships. Why do they talk as if this $1,200 check or these $600 a week were adequate? They're not adequate. They're not enough. What about a rent freeze? What about a mortgage freeze? What about a debt freeze? They won't even give you that. We're not even talking about cancellation. It's just, please, Mr. Capitalist, please, Mr. Banker, will you wait? Just take the couple of months that I can't pay now and put them at the end? Nope. Screw you. Okay, can we have some unemployment coverage? Nope, screw you. We're going to cut it. We gave you $600 a week to some of you, and now we're going to cut it to $400, $300. Screw you. Wow. This capitalism thing seems to be working really well for the working class, right? The framing of this article is so disgusting and despicable. It really is. It's basically trying to brainwash people, subconsciously make them believe that these crumbs that your government has given you are acceptable. They are completely unacceptable by any measurement, okay? Completely unacceptable. This is ludicrous. This is absolutely ludicrous. There are still people who haven't even got that one-time check, by the way, okay? There are people who still haven't received that check. This is Lindsey Graham, who, as you know, is a real champion of the working class. This was back in April 30th, right? But they were talking about extending this unemployment benefits program. And look what he says. Okay, listen to what he says.
You pay people $23 an hour not to work, they will take you up on it. It doesn't mean they're lazy. It means if you're going to pay them $23 not to work, they'll probably take that over $17 to go to work, even though people like working. So July the 31st is when this expires, and I promise you, over our dead bodies, this will get reauthorized. We've got to stop this. You cannot turn on the economy.
You hear that? He said, over our dead bodies. Over our dead bodies will we extend this. It expires July 31st. So at the end of this month, Lindsey Graham says, over our dead bodies. Listen, man, I'm gonna fill you in on something. What is wrong with paying people $23 an hour? Even if you pay them $23 an hour, that's barely adjusted for inflation. You should be paying them $23 an hour. Why aren't you paying them $23 an hour? That's the real question. Okay, let's start there. Why haven't you adjusted wages to account for inflation during the last 40 years? Why haven't you? You should be paying people $23 an hour. All right? Moreover, during a pandemic, okay, when people are getting laid off, when they have no income, you should be covering their salaries and then some. You know why? Because it's their money. Let me repeat that. It's their money. It's their money. You collected these taxes from them. It's their money. Lobbyists don't need money. Okay? What was it? 501c, the dark money groups? Dark money groups don't need small business money. Kanye West doesn't need small business loans. Corporations don't need trillions of dollars. What is that? They always got excuses to give away all this money, billions and trillions to corporations. But when it comes to you, they won't even pay you to adjust for inflation, never mind cover unemployment during a pandemic. And forget about healthcare. I mean, dream on. Do you see how much disrespect, how much they loathe you, the disdain that they have for the working class? And now look, call me crazy, but when he says over our dead bodies, I think he's asking you to invoke your Second Amendment rights, if you know what I mean. Hey, I'm just saying, it's your constitution, no? Is that what you're supposed to do when you have a tyrannical government? I'm just saying. So, just look at Canada. Canada gave everybody thousands of dollars. What is it, $2,000 a month? It was handled in Europe pretty well. The whole point is that you avert this unemployment crisis by making sure that people don't get laid off in the first place. Okay? Right? You don't go and give that small business loan money to corporations. All right? You make sure that people can actually afford groceries, that they can pay their rent, their mortgages until the pandemic is over. They did none of that, man. They did none of that. This was the largest robbery in history. Plain and simple, man. They screwed you. They swindled you. That's it. And when you read neoliberal garbage like this, that you're somehow supposed to be happy with crumbs. I mean, look at this conditioning, this brainwashing. Pure, absolute brainwashing. Why do they make no mention of the military budget that was passed just a few weeks ago? That is larger than the previous one, $700+ billion. You don't need that during a pandemic. You just don't. Why are other countries able to deal with this? when they have less money and less resources than you. Man. I don't think this is something that can be reformed. And I ain't just talking about the police. Once again, you see here the profits over people, capitalist mentality, right? He's telling it straight up to your face. He's saying that we don't want to give people an adjusted to inflation wage during a pandemic. Never mind making sure they don't get laid off and they have food and can pay their rent. Because why don't you get the $600 or more? Because they want you to go back to work. He's saying we don't want to incentivize people to go on unemployment, as if 50 million people just decided to go on unemployment, right? For no reason whatsoever. Not like there's a recession or a global pandemic or something like that, right? He's telling you, we want people going out and slaving for wages. You going to take that? You going to accept that? You going to let this clown decide your future? Man, I think it's beyond reform, okay? I think the system is beyond reform.